Okay, our daily dose of Zoyar, to sweeten the dinim and to get out of this golus barachamim as we need it, at this time so badly. So we're like, as you know, we've been learning Zohar from the Mulefes Sappirim. And it seems that like every piece of Zohar that the Rav Shlomo Al-Ghazi, selected for Am Yisrael, in a way it's Shavach Chol Nefesh, everything resonates with this, the time that we're going through. And without further ado, we're in Yom HaSheni, entry Lamed Zayin, Kosav Sefer Breish Taf Reish Chav Hei Amid Aleph. So Zohar writes in the standard Vilna edition, Chelek Av Reish Chav Hei Amid Aleph, Kishmochid Sefer Torah Beis HaKvaris, right? When you Al Kol Tzar Shlo Tavo, it's an interesting thing. Zohar recommends, to bring a Sefer Torah to a graveyard for any guy, as a preventive measure, right? For tsaros, that to stop, the tsaros from coming. It's in response to tsar that should not increase. Mal arbe, maybe we're alone, right? It helps a lot, and it brings refuah alone. Actually, brings healing to the world, right? V'zel kshonim tzabsulbo, right? That's if the Sefer Torah is kosher, for sure kosher. But if God forbid the Sefer Torah is possible, right? But if it's possible, then God forbid, it actually causes greater harm, right? And the dead people get agitated over this, and this is documented. It's a Maisarav. I'm relying on him that this is what this over there means. So I guess that's why we don't do it bisman hazeh. You would think here's a school from the Zohar, take a Sefer Torah basic first, because our Sifrei Torah in this day and age, they're not. We don't know for sure that they're kosher. They're becheskas kosher because we're not bucking chaseres and yeseres, and we have there's different communities, whether you write, different communities have different masort, whether you write Pitsua Daka with an aleph at the end, or Daka with a hey at the end. So we're not so sure. Of course, every community is allowed to keep its Masorah, and it's we have the halachic criteria, that enable the use of the Sefer Torah, but we don't know. We have the original, or rather, I should say this: we write in our Sefer, we know for a fact we don't have the original Sefer Torah, any original copy of the original Sefer. 13 Sifrei Torah Moshe Rabbeinu wrote on the day of his death. Ezra himself reconstructed a text, working with Roiv, Alpi Roiv. He went with 2 out of 3. And even the exact text of Ezra we don't have because we're not bucking chaseres and yaseres. So I am guessing that's the reason why we don't do it, because on the side that it'll come out that when Mashiach comes that this is not the accurate Sefer Torah. We're using it because becheskas, because it was handed down from. It was consistent with our Masorah that we had, and which when not knowing any better halachically, that enables us to use it. But if Klapish Maya Galia, it's not the real Sefer Torah. It's just we were allowed to, based on how we handled the issue, how the halachic parameters enabled its use. That may not be good enough. And I think this is not a wild guess. Is probably the reason why I've never seen this done, and I I don't claim to know the whole Zohar, and I'm learning some Zohars that I've never heard before from Mulefes Sappirim together with you. So as soon as I read it, I was wondering, so why don't we do it? We have a tzara going on. Bring a Sefer Torah basic first. Well, the answer is, it's got to vadai be kosher. If it's possible, it just it makes things worse and it agitates the dead. Okay, Lamed Ches, Kosovo Sefer Shmos, Tavav on Zohar Shmos, Tavav and Beis, Ki Chacham Adif Navi, right? The Zohar explains why is Chacham Adif Minavi. So many pirushim on that. That's Gemara, I believe, in Bava Basra Daf Yud Beis, I'm not mistaken. All right, it's Chacham Adif Minavi, and there's many pshatim as to why. So the Zohar says a pshat. Right? the Navi, of course, Nevuah is a very powerful spiritual experience, and it's a very powerful asset, to have truths revealed to you through a Nevuah. Because it's not constant. It's not constant. The Navi could, lose his prophecy in a second, or like the Rambam describes, he'll go for years without prophesizing, right? But the Chacham, right, he's always a Chacham. So he has the koch of his chachma with him perpetually, right? Right. That's now so that's one advantage chacham has over the navi. The chacham, the navi has to get nevuah, and it's not always in his hands to get nevuah when he would want it or need it. And the chacham is always a chacham. All right, lamed tes. Another thing that we find in the Zohar and Shemos, Kufnun Daud Amid Aleph, Omar, it says, Kilo Zachadam Lenevua Vilamalchus Kecha Kamosh Rabbeinu, right? Right. Right. No one was ever Zochet to Nevuah and Malchus at the same time. Like Moshe was, he was, the Melech over Am Yisrael, of his door. He had a Din Melech, right? And he was also a Navi, and he had the two together. Now, even though we find black on white in a story of Shaul Melech as an example, right? That he Hagam Shaul Banavim, right? Shaul also from the Nevi'im, right? He visited Yeshiva of the Nevi'im, and he also got Nevuah. Right, okay, but he didn't have them together. He didn't have both the Nevuah and the Malchus together, right, perpetually. Right, Moshe Beiru was always the Melech and always the Navi, and had the two together. Right. All right, Mem. Right, entry Mem. Because of Sefer Zohar Chodesh Rus Kufal from a base. So now in the Zohar Chodesh. Right, on Rus, Daf Kofal from Beis. I don't know which edition he's referring to. Mala Shir Hashem, so over there the Zohar is darshaning on the Mila, the Koach of Shir Hashem. Ki B'shar Shegil Shom Shir Hashem, Hazon Shir Nachas B'chav B'alam Nistalam. At the time when Shlomo Melech revealed Shir Hashem, composed it, there was such a big tikkun that the contamination that the Nachash put into Adam and Chava at that time was removed from the world. It was such a big tikkun at the time that it was made. Right? Okay. Weiter, entry Mem Aleph. Oh no, this is actually he doesn't divide into a separate entry. He considers it a continuation of Mem. I don't know why. Because of the Sefer Bereshis, Daf Tzadi Chesom and Alf, so now Zohar and Bereshis Tzadi Chesom, B'Shem Medrash over there, it's the Medrash Anam is another. The Zohar that we have is a compendium of a few different Chiburim and Sisrei Torah, all trace themselves back to, have their roots in a base Medrash of Shim Yochai. So Medrash Nelam is another collection. In my experience, although I won't say I know all the Medrash Nelams, it's written kind of in Hebrew more than the other texts of Zohar, written more in an Aramaic, but that's in my experience in Medrash Nelams that I've learned, but I do not pretend I know all the Medrash Nelams. I've noticed that trend in the some Medrash Nelam that I know. But anyway, the Medrash Nelam it's one of the the chont, the Zohar we have is a bit of a chont. There's kama chiburim all pulled together, but that sort of shows that they all talk Sisrei Torah, and another part is that all, most, if not all have their roots in the base Medrash of Rishim Yochai and the Chabur that was around it. So the Medrash Nelam, Inyan Petir Shablaza Goro Ksas Kamo Shuva B'Gemara. So over there, the Medrash Nelam, over there in Bereshis Tzai Chesamrav gives another version of when Reb Lazar Goro, I believe that's Reb Lazar ben Horkanus, Reb Lazar Goro was going to be nifter from the world. Right, so it runs parallel to things that it says in our Gemara also. But it says also, right? So that he warned Rabbi Akiva. This is what the Zohar there adds. He made Rabbi Akiva swear that he's not going to use any pasuk, right, from Shir Hashem, which has divine names encoded in it, as those who say Shir Hashem on Erev Shabbos. There's a Yerot Sef Shir Hashem. There's all these shemos encoded in it. So he warned him, don't use the any pasuk Shir Hashem with the shemos that are encoded in them. Don't use the divine names there because it'll destroy the world. Right? Hashem will destroy it because Hashem does not want Shir Hashem to be used in Kabbalah Masi. The truth is that generally speaking, any use of divine names is prohibited. You need special divine permission to do it, but he's warning him that the divine names in that are called Shir Hashem are totally off limit. I see this is why he didn't divide into a separate entry, because he's also talking about, even though it's another Zohar, but it's also talking about Shir Hashirim, talking about the Koach, the Kedusha of Shir Hashirim. The Shemus there in Shir Hashirim are off limits for use. Categorically, I guess on a whole nother level, how we should never use divine names to effect things. So even someone who does know how to do it should not do it, because it messes the cosmic balance, but Shir Hashem would just totally throw the cosmic balance out of whack. I guess it is to say that it's possible to get divine permission to use the other names, but nothing will ever, no situation is dire enough to allow the use of the Shemus encoded in Shir Hashirim. Right? Uber Sefer Shmos, Dafyud Ches Amud Beis. So on Sefer Shmos, and also in Zorah Chelk Beis, Dafyud Ches Beis Omar. So it says over there, Kemachim Omer Shir Balayla Veim Sharim Al Kol Baalei Veim Sharim Al Kol Baalei Shir. Right. Right. So now the angels say Shir every night, right? And they are like the ministering angels over all those who are compose shirim to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'tana zocha das also shir, right? And now a tana, who is zocha to know, that shir, right? Right? Yodeh and Yoni Torah v'chachma yazech kov yosef kov vura, right? So if he knows that song that the angels sing, right? So with that song, he will know in Yoni Torah and chachma, and he will have further ability to hear things from Divrei Torah and to research things. All right, and he could add, cosmically to the divine power and gvura. So this is what Shalmach was zocha to, right? He knew these songs that the angels sing, right? And from knowing those songs, knowing that he compiled Shir Hashirim from knowledge of those songs of the angels. Kolomar, that means to say, Shir Shosam Sari Maush, also Ashir, Kolo, Torah Chachma Atidos. He knew the songs of all those ministering angels that they sing, and those songs, like we said, include in them all in Yonei Torah v'Chachma and the future, right? So the shiras of the Malachim, is a gateway to the omek of Chachmas HaTorah and even seeing into the future. And that's why Shlomo, who knew all those songs, was also the wisest of all men. Right? And Shir Hashirim is mamish composed from knowledge that he had of those shirim that the Malachim say, and that's why he was so wise, and that's why in Shir Hashirim is so much Chachma, right? Amar Reb Lazar, right? Right. So said Reb Lazar like this in the Hemshech of that Zohar. Sorry, Mala Amdu B'Shtika V'Lamru Shirach Nod Levi. All these ministering angels in heaven stood quiet and they did not sing to HaKadosh until Levi was born. Yotzor Misharim Mishivto V'Amdu Elu Nochach Ele Al Mishrosem. And then from Shevileh, who comes from Levium? The Levium have two jobs. Generally speaking, there are Shoarim and they're the Sharim, right? They're the ones who take care of the gates and the ones who sing, right? And as we know, to each his own, they're not supposed to switch jobs. The ones with the good voice did the singing. The ones, they weren't so gifted musicians, they did the gates, right? But I'll call them those who say Shiro from Levi. The angels waited for Levi to be born. And then, when the Levium started singing, So, as it were, they're parallel choirs. The Sarei Mala, have their choir that parallels the choir of Shevet Levi on earth. So then they mamish sing in parallel. The heavenly choir with the earthly choir, which is Levi. Lezenikram Shorim Shomata Leviim, and now that's the secret. That why the ones who sing on earth, which are Leviim, are actually called Leviim, Loshen Levi, because they accompany. Right? They accompany and they are connected. They accompany and they are connected to the heavenly choir. The Leviim on earth are accompany and are connected to the choir in heaven. Like Leah said when Levi was originally born, Hapam Yilava Ishi Eli. Now my husband will be drawn to me. He's going to, be by my side, be drawn to me, because the Leviim on earth are indeed drawn and connect with the choir in heaven like one. Okay. We finished all the Mulefes Sappirim for Yom HaSheni. Like we said, this was meant to be a book that's complete every 30 days, as it's very clear, even though the first half is generally Zars have to do with Torah, but, it's these shoots, it's like these are, because Zohar is just good for the neshama. Zohar is good to purify the neshama. Zohar is good to give Yiras Shamayim. Zohar is good to get the Shechina out of Golus. And so he selected, Zohars that anyone could learn, and he put it into Hebrew that anyone could understand. And every Yid, even a Pashto, sorry, we don't say the word Pashto Yid because it's, no Yid is Pashut. We're all Mamleches Kohanim Goy Kadosh, as we said on a previous video. But even the less educated Jews can still, have a shaykhs to Sefer Zohar through this book, and they should review the book once every 30 days. So now we finally completed the amount of Zohars that make up Yom Rishon and Yom Sheni if this book will be on a 30-day cycle. Okay, so we'll start. We'll take the first entry of Yom HaShlishi, which is entry Mem Aleph. Kazal Sefer Shmos, Daf Kuf Mem Gimel Amud Beis. Right, so on Sefer Shmos also Kuf Mem Gimel Amud Beis, and it's also about Malas Shir Shim, the Mile of Shir Shim. The Tam Hashin Rabasi, Shenimtza Kosav B'Sefer Adam Arishan. Right, and now the reason why the Shin, I guess, when Shir Shim is written on a cloth, it's written out Lefi the Masoret on cloth. The Shin, first Shin of Shir Shirim, has to be big, right? As it was found written in the book of Adam Arishan. So we'll see what the Zohar. He just. That was his introduction to the Zohar that he quotes. This is the Lashon Zohar. B'yom Shiyakum Mishkan, on the day that the Mishkan was erected, Yoru Avos Shira Lamal Mata, the Avos awaken Shira above and Shira below. Right, that was in the time of the Mishkan in the desert. So the Avos, sang, and they awakened that there should be singing above and there should be singing below. And also the time Shlomo, when the Beis Hamikdash was built, we fixed and we awakened all those who sing in heaven, all those sing and make music above. And this, I guess, shir referring to Shir Shirim, is composed from knowledge of all those great heavenly singing that was awakened at the time of the building of the first bridge, which also by no coincidence was done by Shlomo, who wrote Shir HaShirim. V'shaninu, when we learned, Bolso Hayom, Kom Yaakov Sham, on the day that the Beis Hamikdash was built, Yaakov got up, V'nichnas, Began Eden, B'Silon Kol, and he entered Gan Eden, gladly, standing in his designated place of Gan Eden. V'az Gan Eden, Paschal Piyah B'Shan, and then the whole Gan Eden opened up. Even the Gan Eden itself opened up its mouth in song. Yaakov, who caused Gan Eden itself to sing, as the first Beis Hamikdash was built, Yaakov. If not for the fact that he entered Gan Eden and took his rightful place there in Gan Eden, that entry into Gan Eden made Gan Eden sing. Right? I said I did not notice Zohar before we learned it together just now, Mulefes Sappirim, so I have nothing to add. Oh, Shmos, Daf Kuf Mem Daudam, and Aleph, also another Zohar, and Shmos, Daf Kuf Mem Daudam, and Aleph, right? Mal Shir Shirim, again, also the Zohar again talking about the Mila of Shir Hashirim. Shekol Dam Kol Torah V'Chol Ma'aser Bereishis V'Chol Golos Mitzrayim Yisasam V'Shir Sam V'Kol Yudos U'Mamed Ar Sinai. Shir Hashirim has stuff in it that alludes to, and as a matter of fact, you see, just learn it with Rashi. You will see references to Ma'aser Bereishis, Golos Mitzrayim, how we got out of Mitzrayim, and the song that we sang at Yam Suf and Yaserus and Mamed Ar Sinai. That's even in the Mefarshim. You'll see it. Maybe the Mefarshim were privy to this Zohar and therefore, put it there. But Rashi lived before the Zohar was revealed. But it's also the Shoros and Chazal, and maybe Rashi had bits and pieces of the Zohar. I do believe the Radal in his Sefer Kadmos HaZohar brings some Rashis that would indicate that Rashi had Kabbalah and perhaps even excerpts from the Zohar. Okay. But it's big, Mater Zubashus Mecholas Machanai, first Mamed Ar Sinai, just like off the top of my head. But I know that this is indeed what's the Mefarshim themselves say, what the Zohar says, how Shir Hashirim also talks about the greatest events in destiny, right? Aside from all the secrets of Torah, everything's encoded there. Right, and it has also allusions how Am Yisrael went in the Midbar until they came to Eretz Yisrael and built the base of Mikdash. Everything is alluded to over there. But B'yom Chasunaso, B'yom Simchas Libo, Yom Chasos is Matan Torah, B'yom Simchas Libo is Zeh Binyan Beis HaMikdash. Chazal say, it alludes to all the great landmarks in history. The Kala Itra Hashem HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the Kolu HaGolus Hamar V'Nimar Zeh V'Agula. The call Tchias Amesim Ad Yom Hashvi Shu Shabbos LaHashem. Masha Asa Lios Hakol Kol B'Shir Hashem. And now that doesn't stop by Binyan Beis HaMikdash. It talks about how Hashem's divine name rests upon us, and also the future Galuyos, including this long and bitter Galus, and the Gula that we will have from this Galus is also encoded there. And also Tchias Amesim, everything until the seventh day referring to the seventh millennium. The Yom Moshe HaKosh goes Elef Shana, because we know Shita Alfei Shtin Havayama V'chad Choruv. Right, the seventh millennium is the great Yom HaShvi. It's the great cosmic Shabbos. Everything is shut down before the world renews in the 8th millennium. Right. So Masha Asi Leos HaKol Kol Shadam, everything that was, everything that is destined to be, everything is included in Shir Hashem. L'kach Shanino, and therefore we learn Omer Pasuk Shir Hashem, but base Mishtos Atorah Sakafisha Kol Torah. Therefore, there's the big prohibition of not making songs out of Shir Hashirim. Any songs that are made on Shir Hashirim, ask a Rav. I mean, of course, the Iker Isser, like the Zohar says, is to use it in as a drinking song in a bar room, because it sounds like a love song. God forbid, person who sings Shir Hashirim in a bar room, because like a good thing to sing. It's like it sounds like a love song, whatever it is. Right, then the Torah puts on sackcloth because you've denigrated the whole Torah. Shir Hashirim is not to be treated like a regular song. Shir Hashirim is Kodesh Kodashim, as like Chazal say, all the Shirim are Kodesh. Shir Hashirim is Kodesh Kodashim, and it has to be treated with serious because it has in it Kol Torah Kula, and the whole history and the whole destiny has to be treated seriously, and that's why you have to be very clear. Ask a Rav if there are any Jewish pop songs with psukim from Shir Hashirim. Ask your local rabbi if you're even allowed to sing them. Right? It's serious. Okay, and I don't know these halachos, so I do know it's a serious issue. Right? So I don't know. Not ask a Rav. I guess it also depends if you're singing it to attain dveikus, or you sing it because you want to make merry. So to make merry for sure, usher. Is it mutter if you're doing it just to enter a state of dveikus and you're concentrating on what you understand? It's Kodesh Kodashim, what you think the meaning of the words are. Ask your local Orthodox rabbi. With this, we'll stop. And we have to get to our daily dose of Reishis Chachma. Okay, Rabbi, so we share Besuras Taivas.